Hello, welcome back to the Science of the Mind comedy TV show. There we go. That's just me just trying to put a little bit of fun and entertainment in there for you guys. I try to, all you good people out there who are watching and training these videos, interested in something a bit different. One of my good friends, I think earlier this week, was talking to me about the fact that people just seem to be interested in a lot of entertainment. There's a culture of people just looking for entertainment. And it reminds me of a time when I was speaking to one of my best friends recently and talking to them about some truths. And they kind of, I think they almost interrupted me in the middle of what I was saying, and they were pretty much telling me that they didn't want to know. And I was saying, how does that work? And they were telling me that what I was saying to them was real. It was too real. It was too honest and truthful, and that it wasn't fun and it wasn't fictional, and that was what they wanted to be doing at the time, was just having a bit of fictional, a bit of relief from the reality, and having a bit of fun. So it's interesting, with the Science of the Mind training, I'm sharing a bunch of truths with people and suggesting to you that it actually does get fun. The whole premise of this training is the fact that our mind is getting a bunch of energy zapped out of it, sucked out of it by like energy vampires of like bad thoughts, bad words that we might say or other people might say, or bad things that people are doing at different times. And just the foundational diagnoses within this Science of the Mind training is like misunderstanding and hate and greed, and that these misunderstandings, these times, whatever hateful things are going around, or a lot of greedy things that we do or other people do, it drains a lot of our mental energy. Like, it can be quite disheartening, or even cause despondency, depression, cause a lot of anxiety for people. And with the Science of the Mind training, and the whole science of this is about trying the experiment. That science is about experiments, and this is an experiment we do in our own minds, and our mind encapsulates our whole life. So it's like the science of our whole life, of what we actually observe when we start doing these experiments, of trying to train and think some more good thoughts. I was talking to a good friend of mine just yesterday, I think, explaining to them that the science of the mind, the science of how the mind works, is that the mind is a relationship machine. It's all about relationships. So with the Science of the Mind, where we're investigating and exploring, like, what happens when we relate to things, relate to the world, relate to ourselves, relate to other people in ways that think a lot more good thoughts. It's about a relationship there. Even if we're thinking bad thoughts, it's allowed in this training. It's actually allowed if we have that open-hearted, open-minded relationship, even with our own mind, what's going on in our own mind. Maybe we do have some images or thoughts or feelings in our body or in our mind that we find unpleasant. We think they're bad. We might even think they're morally bad, like they're unvirtuous or they're selfish, or who knows what it is. Some hatred coming up inside our own mind. Even with this training, it's having that compassionate relationship there, to allow, to give permission for us to have a mind, to have a heart that's still not as healthy as it can be with more training, that we haven't understood this training, we haven't learned this training as well as we will do in the future if we keep going with it. So we're probably not as healthy or as happy as we can be. But having that really kind relationship with ourselves, a loving relationship that has that attitude and looks at us with eyes of kindness to say that we deserve a good attitude. And I give out a bunch of certificates to some of my closest family, closest good friends and best friends and things. And that certificate is saying that you're perfect. And a bunch of you good people watching this video have probably got your perfect certificate, and that's because you are perfect. It's saying you deserve that perfect attitude. You are perfectly lovable. Just like all of us are. Life deserves this good attitude. Other people deserve this good attitude. It's really kind. It's a really gentle training. It's a training in gentleness. I'm talking to one of my good friends recently. I actually made a video and I was calling it Don't Rush. It's a big part of this training is just learning not to rush. In our Western culture, there's so much rushing around. There's so much of a sense of all these different things that we should be doing or we could be doing or that we want to be doing. But with this training, it's saying, don't rush. There's doing so many things is not necessary to getting happiness. That this training is showing that there's a way of getting simple happinesses where you actually don't need to do huge amounts of things. If people could learn around the world, if many more people could learn, or even all people could learn over time through getting educated in things like the science of the science of the mind, this science, how your mind actually works, what creates happiness and health and harmony, and what's good for animals and the environment and everything. If many more people or all people learned about this, that there's this happiness of just being frugal, of just you don't have to do that much. It's really simple happiness. Just learning to be happy with the simple things in life. It means we don't need to do so many things or want so many things. It means that we don't have to rely our happiness on consuming so much stuff that hurts the environment or that hurts animals or that hurts other people and ourselves. When many more people learn about this, then we can have human beings and people, good people, can learn to be more friendly and get free of a lot of the illnesses, of the misunderstandings about how we're going to get happy, how we think we're going to get happy, or what happiness we think other people are getting through things that are maybe greedy or hateful, of just simplicity. There's a lot of misunderstandings going around, but this is just my first video getting back saying we don't have to delay doing good things. We shouldn't really delay it, but as long as we're relaxing and going slowly and not rushing around, if we just slowly go about doing good things, we will definitely grow in this training. And it relaxes our nervous system when we do things in a relaxed way, relaxes our brain, relaxes our mind and our whole body. It can really change. And I have a lot of these results already. I already have a lot of peace of mind and relaxation in my body and nervous system and brain. I already have so much more kindness and gentleness and softness in my own system, so I know it works myself. I talk about this sort of thing in the book, and I see when I share it with you good people, my good friend just a while ago, one of my good friends telling me that they used to think about the environment and climate change as not being their problem. And they would think, oh, it's not my problem. But after spending a bit of time with me, they started to think, oh, maybe it is my problem. It is our problem. And it changed their behavior. They're telling me that they used to litter. They'd just drop some rubbish around on the street, and instead they stop themselves and actually put that rubbish in the bin. So it goes to show that the science of this training, when we do this experiment and we keep going with it, it does get good results for us. It helps us, it helps other people, helps the environment, helps animals, and it activates a lot of resources. Just like my good friend there has all this potential. And I say to that good friend of mine that they're a fast growing tree, like in this training, like if this training is like a tree growing, that they're growing fast in this training. But at the same time, not to rush, not to try to grow faster than what we're doing, just to be happy with how we're going in this training. So there we go. This is a longer video than I usually do here, and not rushing to get to the finish line, not rushing to try to get it perfect, just being happy with what we got. So it's the first video that I'm doing after a while of just not rushing myself, and I was a bit sick for a while, physically sick with the cold. Still got a bit of a sore throat. My voice isn't as comfortable as usual. But here we go. I'm getting back into sharing more goodness with all of you good people out there. I hope you're all going really well with it, and know that I'm really proud of you, and you are perfect. So it's a training that's saying that yes, you are perfect, we are perfect, and even perfect things need care. So it's about learning to care for ourselves, for other people. It's a really caring approach. It's all about learning this skill of caregiving, giving and caring, activating potentials that are latent there, that are dormant, just waiting to be activated, that we can do a lot more goodness. Each one of us, individual human beings, can do a lot more goodness in the world, and we can learn to cut out any bad stuff that we're doing, just to reduce it and remove it. And this is how we can make a better us and a better world. And we share it with each other. It's a good group of people. Each one of us, such good people. So we do need to care for ourselves, for these resources. And they are perfect, that we can have that perfect attitude towards the world and other people and animals and ourselves. And that everyone and everything needs a lot of care to be able to maintain it, to be able to look after it and help it to thrive and grow to its potential. So I was talking to my good friend that I've been talking about a bunch in this video, about the fact that I thought, what more could I do for my good friend? And for each one of you, all of my good friends, each person in the world, what else can I do? And I thought I could run the first Science of the Mind group, like support group. And so I started talking to my good friend about the fact that I'd thought of this for them and for us. And they were saying that they'd be really into that they like groups and a sense of community. So this would be like a little group. So if anybody's interested in meeting up, might be just a few of us, 3 or 4 or 5 people, including me, arranging a time to do a little Science of the Mind group and start a community, a sense of belonging, people who care and aren't as interested in a lot of things that are going on in mainstream communities and culture, but people who are into thinking good thoughts and supporting each other and just being real with ourselves, and learning how to develop this simple happiness, which is just so satisfying. Like today, I'm just feeling so much contentment, and wow, it feels so happy. Like so relaxing. So it's a different experience. I don't think many people, especially in our Western culture, get it. So much rushing around, so much stress. But when we relax, it's so satisfying. It's like saying the word contentment doesn't even really get that sense of it. It's just delicious. I talk about it in the book there. So it's delectable. So keep up your good training and every week, every month, every year, bit by bit, it grows inside you. So take good care. And thanks for listening and watching as always.